Hey everyone, I hope you're taking it easy and your day has been great thus far. For this video, we'll be continuing through our unbagging series of Combat Patrol with issue number 22, and Combat Patrol is a magazine for the Warhammer 40,000 game setting. So coming to the end of my 4-issue subscription bundle, there will be a few things to go through, so I guess we'll just jump straight into it. Front of issue number 22. So we have, I don't know if it's supposed to be a Farseer or a Warlock, one of the two, but judging by the colors, most likely it is a member of the Aeldari craft world. What is in this issue? This issue will pretty much come with 2 paints, Averland Sunset and Catachan Flesh. And then, no doubt, we'll get some more information about the Aeldari, etc, etc, etc. So, in this issue, there will be some painting guides to make use of the 2 new paints. From a reading section, there will be 2 lore components for the Aeldari, and then a Warzone section. From a collect perspective, Aeldari characters, it'll be interesting to see what's there. And then from a play side of things, how to play Combat Patrol missions, and Clash of Patrols, which I suspect is obviously a scenario. So here we go, how to paint additional details. So making use of the Catachan Flesh on some previous models, namely, what do we have? Infernus Marine, Terminator, Chaplain on Bike, and then for the Averland Sunset, the Librarian Terminator, the Teleport Homer, and yes, we will have some things for the Tyranids, mainly the Averland Sunset on a few of those, particularly eye sections, I guess, and then a bit of Catachan Flesh on the Farseer from the previous issue. And then we just have a nice work in progress here. These will be for the previous Marine models. And then over here, when we start doing that weird tearing thing, the Tyranids and the Soul Aeldari model. Aeldari war hosts, so some information about that. This particular war host appears to be that of Simhan, and I'm pretty sure that is a good representation of what the Combat Patrol will be. At the Farseer, we know we're getting some Guardians. I know there's a Wraith Lord, and I'm pretty sure we do get some of the jet bikes. So, Aeldari Warhost. What else do we go through? Craft World Army, so there's some images there of the Wraith Guard, the vehicles in the way of the Wave Serpent. Boy, I remember when that first came out again, back in the day. Information about the Craft Worlds. And in fact, we do have a nice little breakdown of the main craft world. So we have Simhan, Ulthway, which is what I have said I will pretty much use as my particular craft world. We have Aeldari and Alatok. And for whatever reason, Bieltan hasn't been mentioned. Galaxy at War. So different war zones. What do we have here? Imperium Sanctus, Imperium Nihilus. I believe both have come up in recent lore in the last few editions. Boy, that tear is in the most awkward place. We do have this nice little galaxy star chart. So we do have Segmentum Solar there in the far left. With Terra and Mars, Segmentum Pacificus, Tempestus, the Ultima Segmentum, etc, etc, etc. So I'm not going to go into every single thing that we have here, but it is always nice to see the actual galaxy map. Some various galactic war zones, Warzone Bastior, the Narcommand Gauntlet, the Pariah Nexus, which I think was part of, was it 8th edition? Or 9th edition, whichever one had the Necrons? Might have been 9th. And the Calnats Expects. So once again, just a little bit of lore snippets to immerse into the game setting. From the collect side of things, so we have some generators here for what appears to be the Farseer and a Wraith Lord, which I guess is pretty much, you know, don't worry, you're getting one of these models in a few issues time. So there's that random D6 generator for the Farseer, and there will be one for the Wraith Lord. I'm looking forward to painting that Wraith Lord in black. I also remember when Wraith Lords were all metal. Things have changed. Playing Combat Patrol. Now I won't delve into this too much. I usually don't delve into these too much, just in case. Because we are now in 11th edition, and I'm sure there have probably been some tweaks to Combat Patrol since. But you have some information here, basically how to get started. So how to make your models battle ready, which is always nice, which I do mention in previous videos for Combat Patrol about the concept of, you know, tabletop ready and parade ready. The battlefields that you'll play on, and then basically how to actually organize your Combat Patrol missions. So we have things like Combat Patrol and the enhancements, how to determine your actual mission, and things like that. So basically it is a nice little guide on, if you're going to start with a Combat Patrol, this is what you need to be aware of. And then we have an actual Combat Patrol mission here. So the layout of the board, the objectives, mission rules, etc. And what do we have here? Basically how to record your various Combat Patrol games. So there'll be a nice little faction key down here. It's pretty much the factions that we'll get throughout the Combat Patrol magazine. So Space Marines, Tyranids, Aeldari, Chaos, Orcs, Votan, Genestealer Cults, Astra Militarum, World Eaters. Alternatively, I could have just done that as opposed to trying to remember off the top of my head. The usual splash page here at the back of the magazine. So we do have a few Eldar models there and some Chaos models. And then on the back of the issue, pretty much a preview of what's coming up. Issues 23-24 will be parts 1 and 2 of a full 10 Guardian Defender set and a heavy weapon platform. So that'll be pretty much the first 2 issues of my next 4-issue blob. Looking forward to that. Hopefully painting them will be easy, given that black is going to be the main color. So that was the rundown of issue 22. What else was included in issue 22? The 2 paints. Catachan Flesh and Averland Sunset. Both are base paints. And obviously, given that I've only had this in my possession for a few weeks now, these should still be relatively fresh. The pots are still sealed and they are still branded as Citadel color as opposed to Warhammer color. Now, because I have a subscription, I did get a bonus item. So I guess in terms of the bonus item, it was a nice little Combat Patrol themed cup. So have the Combat Patrol logo there, a winged Tyranid Prime, and then on the other side of the cup we have still once again Combat Patrol, but with the Terminator Captain. So pretty much reminiscent of how the series actually started with the Space Marines and the Tyranids. So very nice to have that. Am I actually going to use it? Time will tell. Obviously needs to be washed beforehand, but yeah, it's always nice to have one of these. Now there's one last thing to look at, but before I do that, I'm just going to do this just to make life a little more, well, less boring. Now, because this is the end of the 4-issue blob, I'm just going to call them blobs from now on. I do try and do a subscription versus retail costing summary. So from a subscription perspective, by the end of this issue, and excluding any bonus items, with the exception of the premium kits, subscription wise it's around 762 Australian dollars, which actually isn't too bad for 22 issues and the various paints, paintbrushes, model kits, etc. Especially since I'm paying a premium pricing as opposed to the standard pricing because of the actual premium kits that will be available. And obviously a few weeks ago I did the premium kit for the, was it the Space Marine Dreadnought Redemptor and a Hive Tyrant? The video's floating around. If I was to do all of this normal retail, granted this is retail as of 2026 pricing, obviously prices have gone up over the years, but using 2026 pricing, it is around the order of, and this is Australian dollars, 1,162 Australian. So not quite a 50% savings. It's probably at least a third, I guess. Yeah, probably just shy of a third. in terms of savings, which actually isn't too bad. I will admit the first few issues, because I bought a few extra issues, it's probably upped some of the saving offset, but from here on in will probably not be too bad. But in saying that, there have been some recent back issues, the Chaplain on a Bike, the Farseer. There's a few issues there that, compared to the retail costing of the actual unit pass out of Mortrix, is probably another good example. If you can find the actual Combat Patrol issue, just grab it that way as opposed to buying the actual box set. Yeah, I actually didn't do a full comparison. Actually, no. Since I have it literally in front of me. Chaplain on a Bike, I know it's 2 issues ago. Chaplain on a Bike retails, this is Australian, around 96 Australian. The issue itself would have only cost me, I think it would have been about $23, $24. Less, because obviously you don't buy premium at retail, so it would be around 20 Australian dollars. $21.99 to be exact. So there you go. For basically a quarter of the price, you can get a Chaplain on a Bike, which probably explains why I can never find them retail anymore. But there you go. Always nice to know. Anyway, so that's the price summary as of issue 22. I'll do another one around the issue 26 mark, just to see how things are tracking. We've done the issue, we've done the pants, we've done the anti-cup. So that is pretty much Combat Patrol issue 22 done and dusted. Thank you very much for watching this video. Feel free to leave a like, comment, subscribe if you enjoyed the content. All of this does help support the channel, and I do appreciate it. Feel free to check out Instagram and YouTube community tab. Work in progress stuff is going up there. May or may not be Warhammer related at the time, depending what I feel like doing. With that being said, stay safe, take care, and I will catch you all in a future video, which may very well be issue 23 of Combat Patrol, or something else on the channel. See ya.